I'm just going to get straight to the point and say that I have fell off the homemaking wagon again. If you're new here, hi, my name is Phylisha, and on my channel, I document my journey through life as a Christian wife, homemaker, future mom, and seasoned entrepreneur. All right, let's get into it. So, I have been trying to really prioritize being a homemaker, being the CEO of my home, and really just putting the majority of my time and my focus into my home. I've been a business owner for almost 9 years now, and for the longest, that was one of my main focuses, and that's where the majority of my energy went. But over time, and up until recently, I realized that I really want to own my role as the CEO of my home. I want to really just pour my time, my energy, everything into my household, into creating an atmosphere in my home. And I was going strong for a short while, especially when I first came to this realization about like a year ago or so. Like I was really going all in, trying to be more mindful, be better about ordering food out, trying to just cook healthy meals for us here, making sure that I'm keeping everything tidy, making sure that I'm praying over my home, that I'm just really creating the atmosphere that I want in my home. But recently, life just got in the way as it always does. Life just started lifing, and my energy was kind of down, and I started to just neglect a lot of the homemaking things that I once was really making a priority. So right now, I'm doing another reset and really working towards getting back to focusing on my home more. So in today's video, I just wanted to do kind of like a check-in, just update you guys on where I'm at in my homemaking journey. So the first area that I'm trying to work on is cooking, meal preparation. When I first decided to really prioritize my home, I was really good about cooking dinner, even sometimes lunch. I'd make a new like a homemade meal every night. Over time, I found that that wasn't really sustainable for me, and especially not in this season of life. I think I went really hard on the gas pedal in the homemaking arena, and I wasn't really considerate of the season of life that I'm in. I still have my business. I still have to show up in it. I still have to problem solve and make decisions. And it does still, although it doesn't consume as much of my time as it used to, it does still consume a good amount of my energy. So it was not sustainable for me to just cook this from scratch. You know, I'm talking making like fresh tortillas from scratch, the whole nine. It was not realistic in the season of life that I'm in right now. One day I would love to do that. I really enjoyed it, but I'm not able to keep up with that in the way that I would like. So now I'm trying to kind of take a step back and really evaluate what season I am in and what would be sustainable for me. What is the simplest thing that I can do to be consistent? And for me, that's starting with the basics of even before I get into the kitchen and make a meal from scratch or whatever that looks like. First is starting with meal planning, me knowing ahead of time what I'm going to cook, having the groceries, and just being prepared. That's a huge thing for me is preparation. I was trying to just kind of do things on the fly, and that only works for me for a short amount of time. So right now I'm trying to focus on planning my meals in advance. And even then, like before I was trying to do 2 weeks worth of meals planned in 1 week. And even that was too much at this point. Even if I need to just plan a couple days at a time, then maybe that's just where I'm at right now. And then have the groceries for those couple of days, cook the meals, do that again for the next couple of days, and so on and so forth. Because before, I would try to plan in advance. Maybe I would get all the groceries, and then I'll decide that I don't want to cook that whatever meal for that night, or for a few nights we'll order out, and the next thing the groceries go bad, and then I've spent and wasted all this money on these groceries that I didn't cook in these meals that I had never made. So right now I'm trying to just go back to the basics, plan for a couple of days at a time, make sure that I have the groceries, also make sure that I'm giving myself options and variety so that it's not like those groceries are for these specific meals that if I decide that I don't want tacos, then I can't just use that ground turkey for something else and still utilize what I have without wasting it. Also, I do want to get more into just meal prep in general. And again, before I had this whole intricate plan of making all these freezer meals and then having that prepared, which I do want to work my way up to that. But right now, I think it just looks like if I'm cooking spaghetti for dinner tonight, just cook double the amount so that I have enough for the next couple of nights. And then maybe if tomorrow night we don't want it, then I freeze it and then I can use that meal for another time. But to just keep it as simple as possible. The next thing that I'm really working on is my environment. I thrive best in a clean, tidy, well organized, very minimal. I don't like a whole lot of things out kind of environment. And I find that when I'm just mentally absorbed with work and when life starts happening, that then my tidiness goes down and things start to pile up. I am pretty good about when things start to pile up, being able to just put them back in the place that they go. But recently I found that I'm starting to acquire more things that don't have their own place in my home. And so then that starts to create unnecessary clutter. So for example, we like to host a lot at my house. So we usually host Super Bowl, Christmas, Thanksgiving. And in the beginning, it was just people come over, the home is nice, it's clean, we have the food, and that's like nice and set out, but that's it. But now that I've gotten more into hosting, then I'm starting to acquire more seasonal decor items and things like that. Now we have chafing dishes and things that you don't use all the time, and those things don't have a permanent place. So right now my big project is we got this really nice organizer for our garage. It's a wooden organizer and it has like the different compartments and then the big plastic bins that slide into it, and we have about like 16 different bins. So I'm working on acquiring like all the things in my home that we don't use all the time and organizing it in there. Or even things like I got a lot of different like cake decor or like cake decorating items for Christmas, and that's not something that I do all the time, but that's something that's taking up space inside, so I'll organize that in the storage system in the garage. So just making sure that everything has a place. For me, that's honestly the biggest thing. If everything has a place, sometimes things might start to collect and things aren't as tidy as I need for them to be or like for them to be, but it's a lot easier to get back on track when things actually have their own space, like they actually belong somewhere. The next thing is just atmosphere. I want to really make sure that I'm conscious of the atmosphere that I'm creating in my home. For me, that looks like praying over my home. For me, pleading the blood of Jesus over everyone, every single thing in my home, and every day being mindful of that. Making sure that I'm just covering our home spiritually. I want when people to come in to my home, or not even before any guests or people come, but just for me and my husband, for us to feel peace in our home, for there to be an atmosphere of peace and of rest, for us to just have this safe space in our home. And yes, that also includes the physical environment. It's hard for me to feel at peace if things are a mess and there's clutter and chaos everywhere. But then it also goes a lot deeper than that. And it's just spiritually of me praying, covering my home, being mindful of the energy that we hold in it. If I feel like it's off, praying about it, going to God about that, and making sure that I'm always intentional about the atmosphere. Yes, I've been doing a pretty good job of waking up and doing my devotion time, spending time in prayer, spending time in the Word, and really just spending that quiet time with God. But within that quiet time, I want to make sure that my home is included in that time as well, and the atmosphere specifically in my home, that I'm really being intentional about that. Then the next thing is I've just really been trying to find a better balance between business and homemaking. Initially, it was just all business and growth, and that really consumed a lot of my time, energy, resources, and everything. But now that I'm shifting to really wanting to own my role as the CEO of my home, it's sometimes been difficult to like shift my energy from work mode to focus on home. And even specifically, I'm really good about keeping my calendar. I love Google Calendar, and I have my Google Calendar all nice and organized, color coded with the common colors, all the things. And I'm really good about having everything for work on there. So meetings and one-on-ones with my team, meetings with my CPA or attorney or things like that. But I have not been as good or intentional about things for home. So making sure that I'm putting time on my calendar for meal prep, making sure that I'm putting time on my calendar, even just to remember to like call my grandma or family members, really being more intentional about that. I really want to just be able to give the same energy to my home that I've been giving to my business all of these years. And the last thing is just really focusing on myself. I can't pour from an empty cup. And so really just making sure that I'm taking my supplements, that I'm eating consistently, that I'm getting my protein. I've struggled with chronic fatigue for a very long time, and really up until recently have I been able to get more answers as to what's causing that and what I can do about it. And it's something that I'm working on, and I have started to see progress, because when I'm tired and physically don't have the energy to do things, I don't show up nearly in the way that I want to. I might have every intention of cooking dinner or even ordering groceries, but next thing I feel depleted. And my fatigue was to the point where I remember telling my husband one time, sometimes I'm so tired that I want to cry, literally, because in my mind, I want to keep going. I have all of these things planned, but my body is done. Like I'm no good. So I'm really trying to be very intentional about making sure that I'm taking care of myself so that I can show up as my best for my husband and for my family, for my home, and then also for my business. I definitely want to make another video with my health updates and even, like I said, a lot of the different things that I have uncovered. I've done a lot of extensive testing and working with my naturopathic doctor and have gotten a lot of answers. And I think that that could also be helpful for other people as well. But all in all, although I have fallen off of the homemaking wagon, I am going to get back on it again and again and again. I don't care how many times I fall off. It is something that I have made the decision that I want to prioritize, that I want to be my main focus. Despite life getting busy and me kind of getting out of my rhythm, I definitely want to do another reset, and I want to work in all of these different areas to really get back to prioritizing my home. And I always think about the Proverbs 31 woman and use that as my inspiration. And like I said, nobody's perfect. Your life happens, you're gonna fall off, but to just know that it is okay to start over, and it doesn't matter how many times you have to start over again. I would love to hear if these are some things that are areas that you're working on as well. Definitely comment below, let me know. Maybe we can work together and hold each other accountable. I am definitely somebody that thrives on accountability. I'm really good at holding other people accountable, and I really need for people to hold me accountable. And this video is also just a form of accountability for me to know that I'm putting it out there and to encourage me to continue to be consistent and to really show up in all of these areas. If you made it this far in this video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, guys.